So the second part is the range. Here, why don't you write? Oh, actually, you know what? We'll leave it like this to talk about the range. So we can't put in 0 or minus 1 into the function. All right. So how do you want to think about the range? What are some ideas that you have to sort of think about?
I guess we can look at what when x gets really large and when x gets really small in negatives, and when x is around these 2 points.
Okay. All right. So show me what you're going to do.
So when x is really large, I guess we could draw a little graph. When x goes to like 1,000,000 or something like that. Well, I guess first we can simplify this equation a little. It means it's 1 over x plus 1 over x, which is x over x plus 1.
Okay. So I guess that leads. Then I would ask you: are these two functions the same? F of x equals 1 over 1 plus x, and f of x equals x over x plus 1.
Well, not really, because in this function we can put in 0 and get a value out.
Okay.
But here we can't. So we should remember that we can't use 0 here.
Okay. What about other than 0?
Other than 0, it's the same. You can't put in minus 1.
Okay.
And all the values will work.
All right. So we can think about this as x over x plus 1. Sorry, we only have we're running out of room here on the whiteboard, but that's all right.
So when x gets really big, this is always going to stay a little less than 1.
All right.
When x approaches 0, this is just going to start to look like 0.
Okay.
Like when x is tiny, this is a tiny number over a tiny number plus 1.
All right.
When x approaches minus 1, well, it's going to approach negative infinity. A negative number over a positive number. So here's minus 1.
Okay.
And then so it's going to start off at 1 and then go through 0, but we can't hit 0. And then go off toward infinity.
All right.
And when it gets really negative, then it's just going to approach positive infinity. Or no, when we're just past minus 1, it'll look like positive infinity.
How come?
Well, we're going to have a really small negative number here, and then another negative number here. This is going to be a larger negative number.
Okay.
This is going to be small and then flip to be really large.
All right.
So, can't really draw it too well on this.
Yeah.
And then as x gets really large, negative, it's just going to start to look like 1 again. Maybe something like this.
Okay. Interesting. So what do you think the key ideas are to understanding domain and range for functions like we were studying here?
I guess we can look at what happens when x gets really big and really small. Well, the domain is pretty easy. You just have to look at which values either will create imaginary numbers for you or create a divided by 0 for you, or anything that causes problems.
Okay.
And then the range, you can just look at when x is really big in the positive direction, x is really big in the negative direction. And then if you have any problematic points, you can look at what happens around those. Sometimes it'll go off to infinity, like here.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Good work, huh?